And now what we're going to do in this video is actually go ahead and create a couple users in our Active Directory, and then we're going to go ahead and connect a Windows machine to that domain using the user that we just created. Open up your Windows Server 2022 machine, and we're going to fly on over to our server manager. Wait for that to open up. As soon as we've got our services loaded, we'll be able to do some management on it. So I'm going to left click on this. Now I want to go and add some users to this domain, and I'm going to right click on the machine and head on down to Active Directory, Users and Computers. Open that up and you're presented with this window here. We can actually go ahead and add users to the domain. How we do that is we go over to our button here, and we can see that we're going to create a new user. Let's click on that, and we're going to give it a name. I'm going to give it my name, Andrew Campbell, and the login is going to be acampbell@redbluelabs.ca. So we can see right here, we've got our domain here, we've got the username here, and we're going to hit next. The password, if this is a sort of like a home lab environment and you're doing some testing, make sure you save this password somewhere. And then depending on what you want for management, you can have the user change the password. User cannot change the password. It really depends on what you're wanting to accomplish with this user. But for now, I just want to create a basic user with just basic permissions. All I want is for them to exist. Next, and finish. And bing, bang, boom, we have our user. Now this account actually exists inside my domain. What we need to do next, add a machine to the domain. Before we get too crazy in connecting that Windows 10 machine to our domain, we have to make sure that our server has a static IP address. Now on the screen, you can see that I've got a IP address set. Now that's because I've actually put this server into a local area network where the network is 192.168.2.0/24. Okay, so that's a subnet of 255.255.255.0. Now, let's go and very quickly take a peek at how do we make a static IP address on our server. Let's go over here, click on our network, and go to Network and Internet Settings. Now I want to go to my Network and Sharing Center, and we're going to click on Ethernet here, and it's going to bring us to this window here, and I'm going to click on Properties. And specifically, I'm going to modify the IPv4 portion. Go to Properties of IPv4, and this is where you're going to manually set your static IP address for this server. I've given it a 192.168.2.2. That's its subnet, and the gateway is over here. And then for the DNS, it's the local server, so it's just referring to itself. So that's good. Close it out. And now we are going to go and take a look at our Windows 10 machine. Now, you got to make sure that that Windows 10 machine is in a network configuration that it can actually reach out and connect to the domain. So I, in this particular lab, have built the Windows 10 machine to be in the same exact LAN as the domain controller. Now you might want to, for your home lab, build out your domain machine to be in its own local area network and have the domain controller and its completely separate network. That would be a good configuration. For this video, I'm going to put them in the exact same local area network. Okay, so I've got my Windows 10 machine. It is not connected to a domain at this point. But what we need to do first is double check that we're actually on the appropriate network. We can do that a variety of ways. I'm going to open up the command prompt here. And do a quick IP config. And that shows me that I am on the exact same network as my domain controller. Okay, perfect. What we need to do next is actually point this Windows 10 machine to our domain controller. There's a way to do that, and let's go ahead and go there. I'm going to click on the network and internet access button here and go over to the same place we did it with the Windows server, where I'm going to do network and internet settings. And we are going to go and follow down to network and sharing center. Going to click on Ethernet and properties. We're going to manage our IPv4 here. Click on that and then go to properties. And right here, we're actually going to make some modifications. So we are going to, we're okay with this machine automatically getting an IP address. You saw it, we saw it done over here. It's 2.29. But what I want to have is the DNS to not be automatic. So we need to actually manually add the IP address of our domain controller. So let's go ahead and add that in, 192.168.2.2. That's the IP address for my domain controller that I've set up. Hit OK, hit close, and close that out. Perfect. Now we're ready to actually go ahead and connect this machine to the domain. Right now we've got settings open, so we could go ahead and type in accounts, show all results, and I'm going to choose access, work, or school. So this is, we are going to be trying to connect to our domain. It brings us to the access, work, or school, and they've laid it out really well. So you just hit connect, and it's going to open up a window. And the first thing it's going to try to get you to do is log in with an account. But in this particular Homelab, we don't have that. We're actually trying to connect to Active Directory that we ourselves made. So let's go and fly on down here. Join this device to a local Active Directory or domain. Click on that, and now it's going to ask us for the domain name. Remember, we are dealing with Red Blue Labs, and then you would just add whatever your name is there, and we're going to hit next. And it's going to go out and check and say, hey, does this domain exist? Are we pointing towards something that has a domain? And we are. And if you're getting this window, that's a good sign, because it's asking you to now authenticate. I want to put in the user account that we created in the Active Directory. So if I remember correctly, that user was A Campbell, and then we put in our password. Okay, now we hit OK, and it's going to try to authenticate and say, hey, is this user actually in the Active Directory? If so, we would like to connect this machine to the domain. And it likes it. So here we go. We're going to be setting up the user for this machine, and that account, I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the account type. Standard users, totally fine. We're gonna hit next. Now we have actually connected to this machine to the domain, but we do need to reboot this machine to finish off this process. Go ahead and click restart now. Okie dokie. Let's see what has changed. Beautiful. Now our Windows 10 machine is a part of the domain. I'm going to log in now as the A. Campbell user that is in my Active Directory. I'm going to put in that password. There's my name. Awesome. Now the profile is created. I've logged in. We can see that I'm part of Red Blue Labs. We can also do a double check just to prove a point that we are a part of the domain. I'm gonna use system info here and look for the word domain. And it comes back and tells me that my domain is redbluelabs.ca. Awesome. Hey, if you're enjoying these videos, I've got a couple other videos up on the screen that I highly encourage you to watch. Thanks for watching. Bye.